Now in this clip I'm going to show you how to create mouth and teeth, and it will complete the 4 clips that I've showed in this series. And the last one, the nose, that you can see above, and eyes and hair are all available. Now what I'm doing now is putting some white on. It's quite a strong white. I've got to do the chin and this area first. I'd already done the top above the lip on the last clip when I was doing the nose. So now we've got to do the chin. Now the reason I'm doing that is, apart from that, it gives you yet another little bonus, how to shape and create skin tones, but it also gives me a framework for the mouth. So I'm going to do this first. Now starting off with some white, and then I think what I'll do next, I'm going to put some pink on, but I also want to put ivory on. I was a little uncertain what to do first, but I'm going to put the pink on. A little bit of pink in there, and then the ivory will go on. There we go. These 3 colours are the base of this particular young lady. Now, if you were doing an Asian or a black person, say West African, then you'd be looking at a different tone. But we're looking here at the typical English rose. Now what I'm going to do is just blend this in. Now you can use your finger or you can use a blender. It doesn't really matter. But what the important thing is to get this into the paper so that what you have is a brilliant base in which to put all the stronger colours. And what's nice about this, you can look above and see how this is actually going to be developing. It really is very useful that, to see the various stages that I go through. All of this started out the same way that is now. And you'll see later on how that all goes together. It is one of the nicest things to do, folks. If you haven't done portrait work with the pastel pencils, I urge you strongly to do some. We've got videos and we've got clips on our members site. Oh, we've got lots and lots of information on YouTube showing you what to do, but it really is great fun. Now, having done that, we've got now to get a pinky ochre look to the picture. So I'm going to use 190, which is a little stronger pink. And what I'm doing is I'm using the pinks and the ochres, so you get a combination of the two. I'm not worried at the moment too much about the shape. That's all going to be taken care of later on. Now at the same time, I'm now going to counterbalance that with an ochre. This is 182. That was 190, this is 182. That can be rubbed in. You see, look, see how close that now is to that? Didn't take long, did it? So this gives us really the absolutely ideal skin tone to begin with, and then now we can start to shape it. Perhaps a little more up there. You see that when I put that on, it didn't register the same way the other side did. It does now though. There we are. Beautiful. Now we bring that in. Just a little more, I think. Perhaps just a little more at the base, because this is where we're going to start to shape the chin. Develop the next few colours. Now, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to use my finger. Now, the reason, let me show you what I would do here. This is one of the tricks I used to get up to. When you first start off, if you start off blending, you find there's a certain amount of oil on your finger. One of the tricks I did, I used to rub it on masking tape on the side, and then you're ready to go. And if I hadn't done that, I'd have picked up that pastel on my finger, or rather the the pastel drawing would have picked up the oil of my finger. There we are, lovely. Now we've got to use a colour which is the main colour here. Even though you look at it there, it looks much too dark, doesn't it? But this is the colour where we start looking at the shape. Is where this all came from, amongst others. And the other thing is round here. Now I'm not going to worry about the skin. I actually will finish this off down here, but not in this section. This session is really all about the lips. Now you start off like that, and then just under there is another area. And this young lady hasn't got many wrinkles and lines, so it's all subtle changes. Like this look. Now, doesn't that look awful as it stands at the moment? And again, very subtle shading coming into here. Now that's ochre, but what I'm going to do is put back in. I'm going to use a little bit of 189 in fact here. I was going to put 190, but I think I'll put 189 in. Just a little bit of 189 to create that F. Now I'm going to use my finger for the moment. It does speed up the operation. Anyway, see, look at the difference that makes. Not enough though. We now need to go in again with our 187 and make sure this is quite strong, because this is where we'll start the lips in a moment. There. So a little bit there, and a little bit here, just a touch, and a little more under there. Okay, now we can now bring back the white. Now, what I say when I'm doing this is that we are sculpturing, because this is what it reminds me of. And just up here. It's quite dark around there, but just light on the top of the lip, which we'll increase somewhat, and around here, increase. Okay, now we're going to go back in with the blender now, because here we're looking at a little bit more subtlety, and I can't do that with my finger so easily. See how lovely that starts to melt together. That's lovely. It's a little more white there, because that's where we have the strongest light sitting it, like it is with the nose and the cheeks. There. Now one more, and then we'll start the ball rolling on the lips. Just a little more strength. And this time I will use the 190. I keep picking up the wrong colour. Here we are. 190. Just a little bit of 190 on that bottom. Give a little bit of red. Counterbalance it with the ochre, which is the 182. When I'm talking about counterbalancing, it's the tone. Otherwise you'll end up with too much pink. And that should be really nice now. See how much stronger that is? It doesn't matter if it's too strong, we can cut it back again with a little bit of ivory or a little bit of white. So I'm going to use the ivory now. Magic. Just a little more strength there, and I think we're ready to go. This is going to be darker than this in time. Using the side of the pencil now with the white just to really finish the tone. A little bit more down there. And increase the strength on there. Now there is another colour which I can use here, which is called 283. And 283, it will work here because I want quite a rich or a strong finish at the bottom of the chin. 283. I've got it here. You can actually see that now joining from the shadow there and from the hair. And that gives us just a touch more weight at the bottom of the chin. That's lovely. Good. Now I'm not going to spend too long on this because I told you this would be, but just to give you an idea of what would happen if this would be cut in around there. It wouldn't be around there, it would be darker around there, so what I would do now is I would put a shadow on the skin. I haven't done the skin below, so I can't do that, but that's what I would do. That would be darker, and then I would use that same colour I've just used to add even more strength underneath there. That would give us a shadow under there. I promise you I'll eventually show this to you. It'll be probably on my YouTube site. Having done that, we can then cut back in again using perhaps an ivory and get that finish on the cheek, on the chin, sorry, not the cheek, that I was looking for. Great. Right, my love, let's give you a start. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put just a little bit of light. I've already started the ball rolling on this to save some time. A little bit of light on the lips. And then on the teeth. Now, the problem we have with the teeth is, at the moment, is the drawing. I've drawn the teeth in, but really I've got to now take them out. But by drawing them in like this and taking them out, I'll stop halfway and you can see the difference. What I'm doing is just removing as much of the graphite as I dare, otherwise I shall lose them altogether. Okay, you see the difference? Much lighter there. It means that when I go, as I'm going to now, to put the white in, and I don't get the graphite interfering with my colour. Now when you first start doing teeth, they are a bit of a nightmare, I've got to tell you. They really are. They're extremely tricky to do, and they look like false teeth. But I'm hoping that mine won't. There we are. That's how I start the light. And then over here we carry on taking as much as I can. That's a little bit of a hard line. I'll show you what we do with that in a minute. I must have dug in with the pencil a bit more. See how nice that is? Now there is another. This is a double-ended pencil eraser, and it will take just a little bit more. You've got to be a bit brutal with this. Just take a little bit more, just a touch more. That'll do. Off. There we go. This. Now you see, I've left a gap in between the teeth. Well, there's a good reason for that, because if you you lose all the lines, so you lose all the references. But by doing the way I'm doing it now, I've still got my reference. Now this young lady's teeth are actually touching the lip, or just below the lip, just under the lip. Now I shall close up on them, but it won't be yet. There's nothing more I can do with that. Now I've got to put 132 if I can find it. Here we are. I'll go back in now with 132 on the lip. And the same on the bottom. Now I will sharpen this pencil up eventually. I'm not worried too much at the moment because I'm just laying a base colour, and I don't really mind if it goes over the white. It's going to be fused together anyway in the end. It's going to be a bit darker at the bottom there when I get to it. Okay, and now with the colour shaper, we don't want to put skin colours on there, and we just use that very, very carefully to blend in the tone. See how quickly you start to form. Didn't put the colour up here, did I? Now what I'll do now is I'll come a little closer so that you can see this in even more detail as we proceed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off a little bit more of that line round there. I think the line at the bottom's alright, but that line will actually interfere with our pastel. So what I do, let me show you what I actually do here. This will interest you. I use a blade for sharpening pencils anyway, and what I do is I sharpen it, but as a chisel, like that. Go down the other side, sharpen it again, and what you're left with is a very sharp edge. I hope you can see that. Perhaps you can see it on here better. See? Get rid of those later on. And that gives me an opportunity to go in and take out just the area that I want to remove. I don't want to remove it again totally, because otherwise I shall lose the reference area to all the colours. That's good. Now I'll just take a little bit more off at the bottom there. See, at this juncture, it's very easy to remove these lines and to replace them with the colours that we've used before, because we know what they are, don't we? We know that that was pink. So was that. Now you see, you can hardly trace those lines, and when all the other colours goes on, we won't see them at all. And we just go back in. In fact, it might pay us here, rather than completely add more colour on, just bring some of the colour down to meet the lips. That's nice, because right on this very edge we have quite a light area anyway that runs there. See what I mean? Is that nice, or is that nice? Do down the bottom here. I can still see a trace of it there, but that really isn't that important, because I shall be making that darker. Great. Okay, you can come a bit closer and we'll continue. Now what I've done, I've already done this little section here, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. And the idea is that what we want to do is to try to create a framework for the teeth now. Now, although I'm not going to complete the lips, what we're really trying to do is to get them so that we get them strong enough to allow us to complete the teeth. So what I'm doing is use, this is 131 pink. We're going to put quite a few colours on the lips, but this will give us a strength, because I had to strengthen that area before I could complete the corner. Now that the lips come from right back into here. They come along, and we'll do exactly the same thing as above, bringing in the edge of the lip, and that will now meet up with this area here. Same thing with the bottom. It's already beginning to look good. When you get to this stage, you feel as though you've got control of the lips. I know we've got lots of white to bring back again. Excellent. Okay, now let's work on this area here. And what I'm going to do first of all is going to use my 187, which I used before, just to create a little more strength and tone. Now into that we use the ochre, which is 182. Now 182 can start the ball rolling here, just a little bit inside there. And then I'm going to use 283 to go in just a little stronger. See, we can darken the lip going into there, both the bottom and the top. And then we want to bring that one round just a bit more. Good. Okay, now we'll use our bit of pink, not pink, sorry, ivory, just to come in here and redefine the edge of the lip. And we can use the ivory. Ivory is a wonderful colour because it also acts as a blender, as you can see there. Now we need to darken that a little more than that, so we'll put a little more. It's a little fiddly, this. It will take a little while if you're doing this to do it. I mean, you may not decide not to do it. You know, I'm just going to do the lips, you say. I'm not going to fiddle about with it. But you see how I've changed that from being a hard line. Now bring in the white in, using the white to create a little light from there. And that will eventually travel down there. And that is on the top edge. Using the colour shaper again. Once again we blend that out. Now that's not bad at all. It's still not exactly what I'm looking for, so we need to go in perhaps with a dark red, and what I've got is the 192. A little stronger, a little more strength. That's about as far as we can go for the moment. I'm going to make it stronger, but I'm not going to do it yet, because there's a limitation to how much, go away, how much punishment the area will take. And a little white there, coming round from the edge of the lip. And the other thing, whenever you're doing this, you can always go back as well. You know, leave something and return to it. That's when you've got a little more experience. But I think that's good. Now, I think what we'll do now is we'll just add one more strength to the lip, which is this is 190, because I think we need to have the lips just a touch more strength in them before we tackle the teeth. Go round the edge like I did last time, at the bottom. That now links up there nicely. And now all points in between. The reason I haven't gone over there because that was where the white was, and by leaving it, it means that I can get the white back better. Same here, white was there. That's why I put it in when I first start off, so that I can keep in touch with it. Okay, now we'll use our colour shaper and we'll build those lips up a little bit more. Now I just want a little more on the bottom, a bit more shadow. This is 190, still the same colour. When I say the bottom, I meant the bottom of the top, if you know what I mean. It just gives us a little bit more strength to it. Don't really want very top at the moment. Now, having done that, we then once again make sure that it's blended in. Now here we although it's nice to have the shading in by the colour shaper, what we don't want to do is to shade in too much, because we've got to leave just a little bit of design in the lip. So although it looks as though I'm shading it in, I'm actually just really pushing the colours together as opposed to being too strong with it. And you can see you get a little texture with the lips, which is really attractive. Now what is interesting here, I mean, first of all, let's just put a little bit more light in the lip for the moment, and that will give us the sparkle which we're looking for. There we are, see, that's lovely. Now, what looks now, we've just put all we've done is put white in there, with a slight separation, because this is just the area I haven't actually. But she looks goofy, doesn't she? How interesting. So this is going to be fascinating to see how this actually works out. The next thing I'm going to do is put ivory on top of the white. Because what we want to do with these teeth is darken them down, or not darken them, perhaps shade them down would be perhaps a better word. Because then we can put the white back on, which would give in the lightest parts, which will give the shine. Now I don't know whether you can see that makes very much difference. Possibly it doesn't. But what we want to do now is the pink. Got a nice sharp 132. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in between the teeth with the 132. And I'll stop when I get to the middle, and you can see how much of a difference even that's made. Okay, let's go on to the middle. So I'm going to put a grey in here in a minute. Excellent. Now I just want a little bit of the pink on the teeth. This is a very light pink, so it's only just really just shading in, just very, very lightly. Okay, and now the grey. Now this is actually going to have to sharpen this up just a touch, folks, because even that's not sharp enough for what I want. So let me just sharpen this. I'll show you how much of a point I'm looking for here. It's got to be like a little needle. Although when you looked at that and you thought, gosh, that's sharp, wait until I finish this. Just gradually twisting it round so that we get a very nice even point. There we are. Perfect. Right. Let's see what I can do with it. You always know when I'm concentrating, I shut up. That's very good. Now watch this. We now put the, look how I'm holding that pencil. Talk about delicate. I just want to put some shading on the tooth. Teeth, should I say? I said tooth, didn't I? I meant teeth. And we want just to make just a little shape. Just a little. And then what we want now is just under the edge of the lip, just here. I want just a little more shading. Just a smidgen. Both sides, you want a little more. That's over the top, isn't it? Now, what happens now is something that I've experienced over the years as being really, truly remarkable, and that is mixing 273, which was the first colour I used, and 182 together, which is this colour. And it's just a wonderful tone that you get. They work out really well together. Now that's good, but it's not great. So what we need to do is make it just a little stronger. This time, we're putting a little bit of shape in the teeth. Good. Now, once again, come back in with the 182. And that's lovely. Now, what we're going to do now is we've got to darken it just a little more, and I'm going to use 283 now, and this is going on the very, must have sharp points here. It picks up on that side and picks up on that side, and we're going to do in the middle again. it's the idea is this, it's over the top, because by putting it over the top it means that we can bring it back with the lighter colours again. A bit like I've done all the way along the line here. Now that looks good. You know how much better that actually does look than it did before. Now I'm going to use, if I can find it, now this is 192. I want just a very slight separation between the two. 192, which is the Indian red, gives us that effect. I think we can probably do the similar thing at the top. In fact, I think what I might do is go along that edge with that. That's good. Now I want to shade them just a little more now, shape them a little more now, using 273. And 182, surprise, surprise. Now at the moment she looks a little bit like she's got bad teeth. Now we're going to sort that out in a minute. Just make just a little more depth. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit. It doesn't always turn out exactly as you want it the first time round. It's coming. See how much difference that makes. Now just before we go on any further, I'm just going to make just a little more. This is 192 again, but I'm actually putting this on the lip now, because before I darken those teeth, which I'm going to be doing in a second, I want to see how the relation between the lip and the teeth is. Now it's good. This is nice. Oops, I took my eye off that for a minute. So we put a little bit more of that on there. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom. This is 192, remember. I don't want any red in here. I'm not going to give her red lips. I think the colour that I've actually achieved now is really nice. More natural. That's good. And we'll have a little bit of depth here. See, it's nearly finished. And I think what we'll do now is we will just lose the light that I've got there. All that time I had those lights in place, and now I've got rid of them. But they'll be put back in again in a minute. But I think we'll have a little more depth here. I think maybe that was overdone. And the other thing, I've got to tidy that up a little bit like inadvertently did earlier. Now that's great. So what we're going to do now is going to bring back the ivory on the teeth. And then the white. Don't they look natural, folks? It's very close to being finished, but not quite. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a grey. This is cool grey, and this can be put in just to create the tone that I'm looking for. This is where I pick up on the white that I had before, and there as well. Excellent. Now, nearly there. I'm just going to, as the lips have a sort of effect in them, just add and this is that texture I was talking about earlier. Lovely. And now the white. Now the white. Good. And really what we want here is just a little light along. I think I might have to sharpen this up. I'll try. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I can do it. Just a little light on the top of the lip there, and a little light there. There we are, folks. Now let's come back and have a look at that full face. Right, that's almost finished. All I'm doing now is just putting the finishing touches. It is 192. Just put a little bit of finishing touches to the teeth. What I'm doing is implying now. You can't really draw this in. You just got to imply it. And this is where the gums. Otherwise, we don't want to make our teeth look too large. So by putting a little bit of 192 in there, suggesting her teeth are revealing her gums. And at the bottom, which I was doing just now, is just straightening it very slightly there and making it a little darker. And again, implying that the teeth are rounding off as they get to there. Now every portrait is going to be slightly different, so what I've showed you here is very important, and it does give you a brilliant understanding of how we can construct a little bit of depth in there. I'm just adding a little bit of extra depth in there, and a little bit of extra depth in there. It just gives you that little bit of. And I'm going to make that just a touch darker on the edge of the lip there. And I think that's okay there. Happy with that. Okay, what am I going to do? I think I'm more or less there. I don't think I need to do very much more at all. All I think I will do is I'll just... Now this is only a touch. A touch. You need to just touch a little bit of white. It just softens the area that I've just done. You might be able to see that if you look at that tooth and the other tooth. It just softens the effect. Sometimes it's a little harsh. That one certainly was a little harsh. Still there, but it's not quite so in your face, if you see what I mean. This one actually needs a little bit of work done. There we are. Now see how the amazing difference that made. Well, there we are, folks. I think we've done a good job. I'd also, while I was away, I just finished off the little bit of neck. I'm not finishing the picture. The idea is to show you how to construct, in this case, the lips, but all the others, the hair, the eyes, the nose, are all on separate clips. I hope you enjoyed the series, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.